Wow, it must have been a while. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Review Smackdown Edition. I am your new primary host of Unpopular Review Smackdown Edition, the executive consultant, Chris Harris, and I am joined by a very special guest. You saw her last week. She is known as Beatrice. Beatrice, we have to work on that name. This sounds so plain, but you're here with us. You're here with me, the executive consultant, here for SmackDown after a very good SmackDown until I will say the very end. But we'll talk about that toward the end of this episode. But how are you doing this wonderful evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing quite excellent. Thank you. We're in a new year, the second SmackDown in the new year. But still, for me, this is a new year with myself, with you, with all the Hammonakers watching. And I don't know. Let's look at these comments already. So, Chris, what's going on? Christopher Harris, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Looking dapper there, gentlemen. Elvis Martinez says the king is here. Wow, I didn't know we had the king here. That's really good. Mike Riggs says, good evening, fellas. It's Mike Riggs. How's it going? Good evening, Mike Riggs. It's Chris. It's Beatrice. It's Unpopular Review. We're doing well. How are you doing this evening? Anthony Chabot, my man. How are you, buddy? I'm doing quite excellent. And I feel sorry for WWE official Adam Pearce. Once again, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But speaking of Adam Pearce, he actually started off the show because he got called out by the head of the table, none other than Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso, because they were upset at the fact that Adam Pearce made a match last week against Jey Uso and Kevin Owens. This segment, although it was entertaining, dragged a little bit long, looking like Roman Reigns is going to beat the holy hell out of one Adam Pearce, WWE official, not the commissioner, not the general manager, not the president, WWE official Adam Pearce, before he was saved by Paul Heyman. Beatrice, what was your intake? What was your perception? How did you feel of going out of this segment with these four gentlemen?
I think the story could have been told a little bit in a shorter time span. It went on a little too long for me. I got kind of bored like near the end, and I honestly don't understand why Roman was able to put his hands on Pearce, but when Braun did it, he got suspended indefinitely. But with Roman, it's probably gonna be different.
Of course. He's the head of the table. He's responsible for everybody eating. Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Paul Heyman, Shinsuke Nakamura, Daniel Bryan, you, me. Everybody's eating because of Roman Reigns. So, of course, he could put his hands on WWE official Adam Pearce.
Well, if he's putting food on my table, I at least want some of the money that he's making for being this heel.
Speaking of rest in peace, Damon Priest is rumored to be called up to the main roster. It sounds like he was supposed to be called up last week. We'll talk more about that later. You're welcome, Mike, and I hope you enjoy your birthday. You didn't like, so I'm getting the impression you didn't like the segment. Am I correct or am I incorrect in that assessment?
It had its pros and it had its cons. It had more cons than it did have pros, but overall, it wasn't a bad start to SmackDown.
You're about to say something else. Listen to you. It was not a bad start. It was not a bad start to SmackDown. They acted like it was a little bit different with this week on SmackDown because Roman Reigns came out, but Roman Reigns actually started off the last 3 or 4 SmackDowns. I can't give you the exact number, but they start off SmackDown and Roman Reigns music comes. He has now, and arguably, in my opinion, the longest entrance in professional wrestling, right? Shouldn't, but he has the longest entrance in professional wrestling because he walks to that ring and he pauses so many darn times. But he is a sight to behold, and we'll talk about Billy Kay in a second, Daniel Miller. As normal, when it comes to your comments, I disagree with you. I think Billy Kay is one of the most entertaining people on SmackDown right now. But as far as my perception of this segment, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoy Roman Reigns. I enjoy what he did. I enjoy his mob boss mentality because that's the perception he has right now. That's the character he's portraying. He's portraying a mob boss. He's at the head of the table. He's making sure everybody eats because he has to do what he has to do in order for everybody. He's like the godfather of WWE. He's the godfather of SmackDown, and I'm enjoying every single second of one Mr. Roman Reigns. So I have to say, I really did like the segment. I thought it was a little bit tomfoolery at the end when he did let Adam Pearce go due to Paul Heyman talking, the chief counsel, the head counsel. But so you knew something was coming on, and we'll talk more about that in the coming future because we definitely saw more about that. Let's go to our first match of the night. First match of the night was for the Intercontinental Championship. Big E versus Apollo Crews. 2 segments this match got. What was your opinion on the first segment, which saw Apollo Crews seemingly win the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah, the ending to the first match for that was kind of confusing because I was like, who actually won? Because it looked like both shoulders were down for both men. And then after watching it again, it looked like Apollo Crews had his shoulders down and Big E had his shoulders up. So it was a poor angle that they had on it in the first shot. So I agree with the ref calling it a draw, and then Big E agreeing to technically restart the match for a second match for that title.
Definitely. And the important thing that I would like to point out about that first segment was that that's right, Chris. He's a disciple of Tawana. I think you're saying that for a different reason I am, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the important thing I want to highlight off of that is the fact that that first segment, Big E was getting dominated. Apollo Crews came out there and he was showing that he is a contender. He was showing why he won the United States Championship match. And for the first time, I have to say, ever, Apollo Crews was looking very, very interesting in that first segment. He dominated Big E. He was throwing him around, something you usually don't see out of Big E unless Big E's in the ring with Brock Lesnar. Let me read this comment. Chris, do you picture Otis winning the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble matchup and going to WrestleMania 37, win the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 7? Let me address this in order. No and no. Otis had a push last year. It is not going in the same spot as it was this year. But he had a momentum going. It is lost, unfortunately. He's definitely not winning the Royal Rumble. He's definitely not main eventing WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. He's just not ready. It is not his time. So definitely want to go ahead and mention that. So to answer your question, Mike, no. Daniel Miller says Roman is the part of Raw other than Sasha Banks. Well, Daniel Miller, I don't know what you're smoking, but we're on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is on SmackDown, Sasha Banks is on SmackDown. So I don't know what's wrong with you. Anthony Shabbat says, I'm enjoying Roman Reigns too. Anthony, you're a smart guy, and that's why you're a smart guy, because you enjoy it. Beatrice, it's a pleasure to meet you this evening. Mike Riggs, let's go for Mike Riggs. Beatrice is one of our new part-time correspondents here at Unpopular Review. We had her last week. Did so well. We brought her back this week. Beatrice, welcome aboard. Had her on with the executive consultant. Welcome to the A Show, gentlemen and ladies. If you're liking this episode, please make sure you like, love, and share. I haven't seen too many of those like and love buttons go up. Make sure you like and love and share this to all of your wrestling timelines and groups. I see the Kingpin back there. Wait for your turn, bro. You're not even looking right. You got a cat in there. Nobody wants to see that. When you get everything straight, we'll bring you in here. Tawana says, while I love Otis, nope, don't see that happening. Tawana, smart. Join us on Wednesday. She don't watch WWE, so she don't want to be on SmackDown. When she's ready to hop on the A Show, she can hop on the A Show. Mike Riggs says Big E is a fighting champion since he won the Intercontinental Championship. This is true. So much of a fighting champion. We'll segue into that before I go to the next comment. So much of a fighting champion. The next segment, he was, as you alluded to, was announced as a draw with Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews wasn't trying to have that, right? Slapped the taste out of Big E's mouth, and we saw a different Big E in the second segment. Beatrice, go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, basically he slapped not only the taste out of his mouth. I think Big E lost a couple chiclets in the process of that slap. The second segment was definitely entertaining. Tooth.
Oh, that's what it is. I always thought it was a candy or gum.
No, it's a tooth. That's why I call them. That's why I call teeth. I call them chiclets.
Okay.
But yeah, the second one was entertaining. Not saying that the first one was entertaining, but like you said, Apollo was dominating the first segment for that match. And he wasn't having the fact that he lost to a draw. Basically, he didn't even lose. It's just champion advantage with a draw. So then the second segment was pretty entertaining. It could have went other way. I think the fans would have won even if Apollo won the title.
I'm not so sure about that. I don't think people were ready to see Apollo Crews with the championship. He's not entertaining, even though he's a really good wrestler and he's good in the ring. Are they ready to see Apollo Crews with that championship? That part, I don't know. But I will say he showed a lot of promise in this match. I was happy to see Big E come out and pretty much dominate that second match, even though Apollo Crews still gave it to him. But that slap after Big E sold by saying, hey, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. And Apollo said, no. It ain't going out like this. Going down like this. I'll give you that. All right, against my opinion, since he only has a couple episodes left in him, this is the Kingpin. Kingpin, you were here with Beatrice last week. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Long time no see.
Yeah, we had a.
Do you have anything to say for yourself?
We had a pretty entertaining night tonight, wouldn't you say? SmackDown was a great episode tonight.
Right.
Wait. And I got to say one thing negative because, that's the way I am. SmackDown was great tonight, with the only exception being Sami Zayn, who was on the show, who needs to go away.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Review. This is the Executive Sultan, joined by Beatrice and the one and only Kingpin, who cannot say anything other than being negative, I swear. I gave him a challenge tonight. I said, when somebody comes on, give me something positive. Don't give me something negative. He failed. You failed. How you passed high school, I don't know. But you failed, right? I don't get it. We're talking about Big E, the Intercontinental Champion, and Apollo Crews.
Yeah, Big E is
great. Positive.
They're both great.
And Apollo Crews is.
I like that they finally started to push Apollo Crews. You know what? Apollo Crews is a hell of an athlete. I'll tell you, when I started going to NXT in 2014, 2015, Apollo probably got called up too soon. But I'll tell you, if they would have left him in NXT a lot longer, he'd probably be one of the biggest stars in WWE today. Apollo Crews is a talented wrestler, and I'm upset that he's been pushed as a jobber for the last 5 years. It's about time they pushed Apollo Crews. And I think him and Big E, because we know Big E is an exceptional talent. I'm going to tell you this, and this is not a prediction, this is a spoiler. Apollo Crews and Big E are going to have one of the best matches when that match happens. They will have match of the night.
Chris, do you think that WWE management needs more officials for both shows? Because 9 times out of 10, WWE should have more officials because Vince McMahon pays them over $250 million bucks per month. I don't necessarily think they should have more officials. What I do believe they need to bring back, since the WWE official is the authority figure, I do believe they need an authority figure back. Adam Pearce is not it. He should not do it for Raw and SmackDown. But I think they're kind of sowing the seeds. And we'll talk more about that in a second. Well, actually, we'll talk about it now. Beatrice, if you're ready, Kingpin, if you're ready, I can't stop you.
All right. So I think they need to bring back general managers and commission. I don't know about commissioners, but definitely you know what? Yeah, bring back general managers and commissioners. It's been what? What has it been, Chris? 2 years since executive consultant or executive asshole. It's been what? 2 years since we've had a general manager commissioner, or 3 years? Correct me if I'm.
It was at the end of 2018.
So it's been 2 years, almost 3 years now. So I think it's time to bring back the commissioner.
It was like December of 2018. So it's been just 2 years. It's not been almost 3 years. Don't rush my life.
Right. So I think we need to bring back commissioners and general managers. I say you do Stephanie or Vince on Raw with Triple H. And then on SmackDown, you have Shane with... Who would you put with Shane?
Let's talk about a few things. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, love, and share this. Also, I didn't mention this at the beginning, and I should have. This is Friday. What we doing every single Friday now is we're bringing on you as a guest. So if you want to be a part of Unpopular Review, SmackDown edition episode with myself, with Beatrice, with Kingpin, go ahead and send me a message on my Facebook, Chris Harris, and we'll get you on for a couple minutes so you can discuss who you think should be the general manager of Raw or SmackDown. And I'm asking you a question a little bit later. But let's talk about this. Lucha House Party is Great is by Elvis Martinez. Tawana says Sammy sucks.
Can I respond?
No. Mitten Patel says Dylan Captain, you failed to give us the power of positivity. Steven says, hey, what's going on, Steven? Elvis is saying normal comments, which means he got eliminated from having comments highlighted for the rest of the night. Thank you very much. Anthony says they should bring back GMs. Darren Poole, haven't seen him before. Congratulations, Darren Poole. You found Unpopular Review. Please make sure you like, love, and share. Hey, if you want to join us, let us know. Says AJ Lee should be the new general manager. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be upset. I will tell you this. My friend Jason and I, we were watching SmackDown together along with this drunk idiot here, and we said Billy Kay would be a great general manager, and I want to get Beatrice's thoughts on this one, Dylan, so be quiet. Billy Kay would be a great general manager for SmackDown. Beatrice, impress me. What do you think?
They got to do something with Billy Kay. She can't keep going around looking like a cheerleader for tag teams that don't want her.
Why not? Have you seen her resume?
I seen her resume. Everyone's seen her resume. She keeps flashing it around.
Don't forget the headshot.
I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, Billy Kay should definitely be the GM for SmackDown, and I think that's for Raw. They should have a superstar that they're not using or cannot wrestle for a medical reason be the GM for Raw. Please, no more McMahons on the TV, please. We could keep Stephanie away from the TV. We could definitely keep Vince away from the TV because he doesn't know what he's doing. If they were to actually bring another one, I would be fine with Triple H running the show. But no Stephanie, no Vince, no Shane.
Can I respond?
I actually do not mind Stephanie or Shane on the show. I think Shane is really good. He played a very good heel last year. I just think the problem was he was on Raw and SmackDown, and I don't think anybody should be on both shows. I think it's oversaturation, but Stephanie knows how to work the crowd. Go ahead, Dylan.
So I think what we need is commissioners and general managers. So for one show, you have Stephanie and Triple H. The other show, you have Shane, and you know what? Screw it. Billy Kay, or bring back AJ Lee. You know? I would also like to see, I mean, why not bring back someone like Theodore Long? I think bringing back Shane in the long run as a face would work best. I don't know who they would, honestly, I don't know who they would make as general manager for SmackDown, but I think Shane is the right choice. And as commissioner, and I just think it's a good idea because, you know, Adam Pearce just isn't doing it for me. I think he's missing, I guess the word is spunk. Would you go with spunk, Chris? He's missing that it factor. So I don't think he's gonna be the one to be the. I don't think he would be the perfect one. But who knows? You know, like, what if you brought back Kurt Angle as general manager of SmackDown? I mean, he's on that license contract. He's not doing anything. So why not bring back? You know what I mean? Because they've gone to this. Adam Pearce is the guy for both shows, and it's just not doing it for me. It really isn't. I think you need more than that.
I think the main problem with Adam Pearce is the fact that there's a lot of.
I think he lacks
talking. I think there's a lot of people who do not know who Adam Pearce is, and I think that's the main problem with Adam Pearce. If he was actually a little bit more established, people actually pay attention to him more. But also, you know, they're overthrowing him. But let's go ahead and get back to some of these comments. Charmaine says, "Yeah, I'll hear it later." Charmaine says, "Who's facing Sasha Banks in Royal Rumble? I didn't see SmackDown. Most likely, all the women they had backstage segments, but most likely Sasha Banks is going to face Carmella at the Royal Rumble. That's going to be a rematch." Mike Red says, "I bet that will make a perfect WWE commissioner because during the Unpopular Review Raw show, Steve and David Katrina think that I will make a perfect WWE commissioner." Now, Steve and David Katrina are all important people on Unpopular Review, but they're not the guy, right? They're not the head of the table. Let me tell you who the head of the table is. The head of the table is me. Mike Riggs, I don't think he will be the commissioner. You know why I don't think he'd be a good commissioner? Because you said Alicia Fox is a legend, and she's not. So you know what you're talking about. You are not worthy. Darren Poole says no more McMahon on TV. I always have. I'm happy to see Stephanie McMahon on TV.
Darren Poole, I gotta say the best WWE at its best was when Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Stephanie are on the TV. If you look at the late 1990s, early 2000s, that was WWE's high point. McMahon is best for TV, and I think, and early in the 2010s, so I think you need a McMahon on TV.
Voice message?
I don't care how you do it. All right, so let's go ahead and some more comments. Billy K. Shikamash now. Anthony Chabot says it was 2 years ago. Mike Ridge says, Chris, I have respect for you. You Philadelphia Eagles that had a great season, in my opinion. We did not have a great season. Stop kissing ass. Steve says, I think Dylan should be the general manager. You're about to get fired on air. I told you about this.
I agree. Okay? I do a great job.
Mike Ridge says, I like Teddy Long because he made sure that we, the fans, are having fun. Steve says he can be GM from his bed. Darren Poole says Adams, Bear, and John Laurinaitis. I 100% agree with you. Lee's Adam Pierce personality.
You know what?
Mike Rick says he's great for the Green Bay Packers. This is called a mute button. Elvis Martinez says the GM would need charisma. Tawana C says, when is Naomi coming back? Naomi is actually a part of Monday Night Raw, and I expect her back for the Royal Rumble. I just muted you and unmuted you, and you still are giving me a reason to mute you. That's why I love
Darren Poole.
Can I finish the comments? Our fans are talking. I would like to read the comments. Fatima, who I've never seen on here before, what's up? Elvis Martinez inbox me with your Cash App tag for blessing. Wow, I cannot wait for that scam to finish.
And that one.
And then Darren Poole. Don't do Darren Poole, but if you want to scam Elvis all his $2, hey, that's on me. I'll give you the Cash App. Darren Poole says it is not the 90s anymore. Darren Poole also says Vince is past his prime. He looks and sounds like he's 90 years old. He's 74. Steve says, I miss Naomi. I miss Naomi too, and I can't wait to see her at the Royal Rumble. Daniel Miller is another person you can steal money from. So inbox her your Cash App tag for your blessing. All right, Dylan, go ahead and respond.
All right, you know what? I think, honestly, I know John Laurinaitis still works for the company, but you know what? We haven't had people power since what, 2010?
2011.
I think it'd be a perfect time to, you know what? Bring back John
Laurinaitis. 12.
Hi, Jason. Bring back John Laurinaitis on one show.
They're disagreeing with you. They're disagreeing with you.
No.
John Laurinaitis was great. The people power got so much heat. Honestly, though, until we get fans back in attendance, I wouldn't bring back anyone. Like, I wouldn't bring back any general manager. You know, do you agree with this, executive consultant, aka executive asshole? Do you agree with this?
That's what I agree with. Next match that we're going to talk about here on SmackDown for the WWE Tag Team Championship as the I forgot what they call them, but somebody dogs, right? So Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode against the Street Profits. Street Profits has been the world tag team champions for almost a year now, and they are in a repeat match for the 14th time against the Dirty Dogs. And ladies and gentlemen, let's just get down to business. Dirty Dogs are your new SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Beatrice,
stop clapping.
The Kingpin requests that you two stop clapping. Actually, I think he said David.
What is on? Come on.
Let's go ahead and talk about it.
This too.
Okay.
Beatrice, what are your thoughts when it comes to the new SmackDown Championship?
Inbox me your Cash App tag.
That tag team match wasn't bad for what I was expecting. I mean, I like that it wasn't like Complete Control, and then it led to Complete Control with the Dirty Dogs overtaking Street Profits. I mean, I like Street Profits, but there was time for change, and a new tag team champs were needed. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Street Profits go and compete in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
I have to disagree. Once you're on the main roster, you never go back to NXT. The only case of that happening was Charlotte and Finn Balor. I don't think they're going to go back to NXT.
It's only okay for Charlotte to go back while on main roster. I mean, come on. If Charlotte can do it, others can do it as well. And I honestly see the Street Profits doing it. Not permanent, but going back. Just for that. Not winning it either, but.
They're not going to go back if they're not going to win it. It wouldn't make sense for them to go and lose. It really wouldn't. And I honestly, they don't have enough quality tag teams. You don't have the Usos right now. You really only have the New Day and Street Profits. You don't have enough quality tag teams. I think they should just unify the tag team titles and have them go. All of WWE, NXT, Raw, SmackDown doesn't have enough tag teams that are quality. So I think what you should do is unify the tag team titles and have them appear on all 3 shows like you have the women's tag titles.
Women's tag team champions don't go NXT. So I disagree with that. And I think the answer is not to unify them because that actually still takes away from the talent you have. I think the answer is to actually get strong tag teams on Raw and SmackDown. And I think realistically speaking, and I said this next to you, is that the reason how come Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode won is because they've been given so many chances and they've lost and squandered every single one. And at this point, they can't be credible if they don't win. So they had to win. It was at the point where they had no choice but to win. What's going on, Vic? How you doing? And what's going on, American Dream State? How are you doing? And what's going on, John Brown? How are you doing? YouTube is in the house today. Speaking of YouTube, here's another one from Mr. Mike Riggs. Well, that's chilling from Rector Rodriguez, but Mike Riggs says, I have respect for the former SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. Hey, I'm congratulating them. I didn't think the Street Profits were going to lose immediately, but I understand why they won. I have no problem for the fact that they won. And Tawana says Jimmy needs to get back quick. And I remember, Dylan, you and I talking about it. You definitely thought that the Usos were going to be the one to take the tag team championships away from the Street Profits. You can go ahead and talk more.
I have a question.
Sure you do.
Do you think, the Street Profits held the titles since February because they didn't lose the titles. They only switched titles with the New Day, right?
Okay.
Is that true? Am I right or am I wrong?
They've been the tag team champions since, I believe, February or March. Somebody can fact check me real quick. But they only switched the titles. So I consider them to be tag team champions since February or March. And they really dominated the tag team division of Raw and SmackDown and NXT because they don't really have a tag team division, in my opinion.
Well, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. If they were to break up, do you think – well, we know Dawkins can't – I've seen him in NXT since 2014. I know he can't go on his own, but do you think if they ever broke up, Montez could be a big star on his own?
I think Montez is a star. I think Montez has star written all over him. This man is an athletic animal, and he's very charismatic. Do I think he's a future world champion? I think that's a possibility. I don't see his ceiling being anything higher than possibly the mid-card title. But at the same time, I would have said the same thing about Jeff Hardy, possibly Edge, even back in 1998, 2001. But the bottom line is I definitely see Montez Ford going far, far, far. Ladies and gentlemen, watching Unpopular Reviews. I am the executive consultant. Down there below is Beatrice. Over there to my right is none other than Kingpin. Please make sure that you like, love, and share this to all of your wrestling timelines and groups, and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you want to be a part of this particular episode, go ahead and send me a message on my Facebook account or my YouTube. I'm sorry, my Instagram. Instagram is the executive consultant. Here on Facebook is actually Chris Harris. Send me a message and I'll give you the link. You can hop on for a few segments. Speaking of segments, Mike, answer the question. Let's see if Mike can get on. Anthony, they were champs since February. Thank you so much, Anthony. Darren Poole says it was time for the Street Profits to lose, but Ziggler and Roode are not a real tag team. They were just thrown together because they had nothing for him. Unfortunately, that happens a lot with WWE tag teams, and some work, some do not. Your current women's tag team champions were 2 singles competitors thrown together. The ones before that, 2 singles competitors thrown together. The one before that, 2 singles competitors thrown together. The ones before that, 2 singles competitors thrown together. The ones before that, 2 singles competitors thrown together. The ones before that. That's what WWE likes to do with their tag teams. Like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Do I think it's working with Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler? No, but what people don't understand is they've actually been a tag team for the better part of a year and a half now.
And you have to remember, you also had The Bar. You have Shinsuke and Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
Shinsuke and Cesaro.
Seth and Jason Jordan.
And Seth and almost any tag team he was in outside of Roman Reigns.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think Seth Rollins is going to come back in the Royal Rumble, and I think he's going to come back as a face.
I don't believe so. But ladies and gentlemen, we're at that time. We're going to go up with a commercial. We'll be right back After this brief message, stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Unpopular Review.
Top 5. Number 5, Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas has been seemingly... Okay, hear me out, Mr. Angry Pants, all right? So, Jake Atlas, not last week, the week before last, he defeated Tony not Tony Atlas, Tony Nese. Wasn't that his old name, Tony Atlas?
No, Tony Atlas is a Hall of Fame wrestler. David, holy shit.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What do you need, William? Just your authorization for a special operation, Mr. President.
We've managed to gather evidence of a mutant training facility in upstate New York.
This facility is a school. Sure it is. Nobody really knows how many even exist, or how to find them, except you.
David needs to David needs to watch some wrestling pre-2008, so he would know who everyone is.
One more. I'll take one more. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Review, Smackdown edition. I'm the exec consultant. Down there is Beatrice, who wants a new name. She does want a new name. Over there is also Kingpin. We are on the Unpopular Review. Make sure you join us every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after any major wrestling promotion and pay-per-views. And on Tuesday and Thursday, we also have our movie edition. And on Saturday, we're doing reviewing Black Lightning. Want to check it out. Good stuff here. Let's talk about the next segment of Monday Night Raw. Congratulations to the new tag team champions of Robert Roode as well as Dolph Ziggler. Let's go ahead to the next segment. Do you remember what the next segment was? Or are you too drunk?
I forgot, but I'm inviting a fan.
I guess he was too drunk.
Fans tonight, so I'm inviting a fan. So
Wasn't that the Carmella? Or no, wasn't it Sonya with Adam Pearce? Or was that later in the show?
breezed over that. We kind of breezed over that. Let's talk about the next match.
wasn't it? What was the next match? It was the. I thought the next match is the Gauntlet match.
Possibly.
That's what I think.
Gauntlet match starts off with Rey Mysterio versus one Sami Zayn, former Intercontinental Champion.
Almost lumberjack.
Going into this, when you look at the screen, going into this Gauntlet match, my immediate thought was that Rey Mysterio is going to walk out here and have a championship match against Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble until they announced Adam Pearce is in it. And then I was like, ooh, I could see some tomfoolery happening, Beatrice. First match, Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. Not Dan Bryan. Sami Zayn versus Rey Mysterio's quick match. Sami came out, cut a promo. What were your thoughts on it? Actually, go ahead and tell me your thoughts, and then I'll bring in our guest who's backstage.
I thought it was kind of comedic, because they sat there and Sami Zayn's like, "Oh, I picked number. I do number one. It's a conspiracy theory." Like, dude, like, did we not see Rey Mysterio in the ring?
Right.
So it was like, okay, and then he gets in the ring. He wants to film this documentary, and he loses rather quickly. And I'm like, yep, number one pick for being the first eliminated. So I agree. I kind of think that Sami got screwed in that first match. It should have went a little bit longer, but I also think Sami screwed himself.
Sami screwed himself. I kind of figured that Sami Zayn was going to take a quick loss when his promo was a little long. Normally, when somebody comes out and cuts that kind of promo, they're immediately going to lose. And I think it was the best thing for him. Ray won. But I thought that Ray won that fast because Ray was going to run the gauntlet, so to speak. And then he lost the very next match. To help talk about that, let's bring on our first special guest of the night, Mr. Mike Riggs. Birthday boy, had a birthday this past week. Doesn't know football, so I hope he doesn't talk about it. Mr. Mike Riggs.
Smackdown tonight, and I promise you that, brother.
What was your thoughts and opinions when it comes to SmackDown, Mr. Riggs?
SmackDown on Fox has been a big step since they debuted on that network a couple of years ago. In my opinion, Michael Cole and Corey Graves are doing a great job as commentary. Daniel Bryan, I know he lost to Shinsuke, but it was a great contest, in my opinion.
Okay. What about Rey Mysterio versus who's the next person that he wrestled? Was it King Corbin?
Nakamura.
Shinsuke.
No, King Corbin. He lost
King Corbin. Now, here's a guy I don't trust, in my opinion. He's going around SmackDown saying he can't involve WWE. Baloney. The only king I can think of is a real king of wrestling, the late Hardy Race. WWE Hall of Famer, I might add.
Mike Riggs, I don't want you to mention Hall of Famer. I saw you on Monday Night Raw, unpopular review edition, Raw edition for Monday Night Raw. And you say Alicia Fox is a legend, right? So when you say Alicia Fox is a legend, you lose a lot of credibility with me.
Yeah,
you lose a lot of credibility with me, Mr. Riggs. Matter of fact, hold up. This is what I'm going to do. You have 20 seconds, Mike Riggs. 20 seconds. Explain to me, explain to Beatrice, explain to Kingpin, explain these Hammonagers watching. How is Alicia Fox a Hall of Famer? Because this is a war I have between me and Steve. Steve thinks Alicia Fox is a Hall of Famer. I don't. I mean, sorry, legend. I don't. How is Alicia Fox a legend? Go. 20 seconds.
10 long years in the business. She should stay longer, but she got in trouble with management about drugs. That could have been the problem why she's not a legend. So I think she's not a legend. I kind of had a tongue twister on Monday night. So I agree with you, Chris. She's not a legend. Rest my case. Hard questions.
All right, we'll take it off of you. And speaking of Steve, there he is right now. And Steve, I hope you're eating crow because Mr. Mike Riggs, that's what your name is now, okay? So when you come on the show, you put Mr. Mike Riggs. Mr. Mike Riggs has just told you Alicia Fox is not a legend. She is not. You're right, Zoe.
More of a legend than Alicia Fox.
And you know what? I hope one day I'll get a puffer shirt like yours, Chris, because I know you guys are a very busy company when it comes to having me on the air, and I appreciate it.
We are doing big things here. As you see, we are unpopular review. We have new hosts this week. We have Beatrice coming in. Look at her. Look at that smile. Go ahead, give a smile, Beatrice. We have Beatrice here smiling. We have Dylan here who's drunk and laying in his bed. I don't know why. This is unprofessional. But we're doing big things here in Unpopular Review. I'm the executive consultant. Answer your question, how long have I been a boss? I'm one of the original members of Unpopular Review. But there's no boss here in Unpopular Review. I'm not head, but there's no real boss.
I want them on here tonight, and thank you, because I know the Slammy Awards was last year. I was watching on YouTube, and I really appreciate the honor for the longest comment. I know the Buns weren't there, but hopefully next year, 2-time Slammy Award winner right here.
Nice. And we're hoping to look forward to you, but I gotta tell you something, that you have somebody who's coming for that award next year, and that is definitely this guy right here. He's been here every single week, just taking care of business. So much appreciation to that guy, Christopher Harris. You're a good-looking guy. You're a good-looking cat, bro. Good-looking crap. Steven says...
Well, it's been an honor to be with you, Chris. I mean, I know we have our ups and downs, but you know what? Hey, it's a new year. I say we start off fresh, and hopefully we can work out a deal where
I agree. Just don't talk about football. You don't know football.
Well, it's all right. He screwed the Giants, so screw him.
All right. So you say, hey, do you want a job? Because I hear Dylan's position is available. So I heard.
Deal. Got yourself a deal. Hey, I'm coming to get your job.
Zoli says Adam Richard Roland Reigns. We'll talk about that in a second. Mr. Mike Riggs, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to see you next time here in Unpopular Review. Remember, each and every single Friday, we have a special guest. If you want to be a part of it, send me a message. Every Friday, guest episode, myself and whoever's on here with me will bring you on. Let's go ahead and bring on our next guest as we talk about the next one, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus King Corbin. That will be none other than Charmaine.
Hello, how
We're
you
in
doing?
an unpopular review shirt. Look at that. We're in an unpopular review shirt. Look at that. Looking good. Looking sexy, baby. Looking sexy with that shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the shirt. I like the colors. I'm just happy.
We have more shirts coming very soon. Very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, watching Unpopular Review, the executive consultant here, along with Beatrice, special guest Charmaine, Kingpin is going to the bathroom or something like that. Make sure you like, love, and share this to all of your wrestling timelines and groups. Let's go ahead and continue the conversation. Charmaine, tell me what you thought about this gauntlet match. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. King Corbin lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. Daniel Bryan came out, lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura looked like he's going to win. Doing a great job because not only did he win all these matches, Beatrice backed me up a little, but not only did it look like he won all these matches, he did it in convincing fashion. These are good matches, and this was Nakamura of old. This was Nakamura of 2018 and before that came out, where they looked like they gave him that respect before the Adam Pearce came out, which before he came out, Roman Reigns, hold up, Charmaine, a minute. Roman Reigns came out with the rest of the table, with Paul Heyman, with Jey Uso, and you knew some tomfoolery was going to happen. They came out, beat the hell out of Nakamura, beat the hell out of Adam Pearce, threw him on there, 1, 2, 3, Adam Pearce, Roman Reigns, Royal Rumble. Charmaine, before we get to Beatrice's thoughts, because it looked like she has some stuff to say about it, tell me your thoughts, your opinions when it comes to what happened on SmackDown leading up to the Royal Rumble. Go ahead.
I'm pissed. It's good that Nakamura, like he's a very good wrestler. I watched his match with NXT, and I was like thinking like they should push him maybe because either he was doing tag team with Cesaro. They should push him more to be another single person. It'd be very good to be seeing Roman Reigns versus him. Now he messed it up. Now it's him between Adam. It's like crazy. I want to see Shitza win the belt again. He did it for NXT. It was a good matches. I forgot who he wrestled in NXT, but he was doing like very good, and they messed it up.
Beatrice, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with her. They really messed up with Nakamura. I was actually not expecting Pearce to actually win that match. I actually wasn't even expecting, honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be Nakamura versus Adam Pearce. I honestly thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan versus Adam Pearce. And sat there. I mean, what great sportsmanship between Nakamura and Daniel Bryan after the match. That made it better, and then all of a sudden Roman comes out with Heyman and Jay, and then Pearce follows after, and then they beat up Nakamura just to get Adam Pearce in that match. Like they're just trying to make Roman look strong again.
And Roman doesn't need to look strong. Before we continue to talk about this, Charmaine, can you answer the question? Now it's on you. You have 20 seconds. Do you think Alicia Fox is a legend? Why or why not?
I don't even like Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox is not.
I don't care what everybody, even she's in there, but I don't care what.
She's not a Hall of Famer.
Nope.
She's not a Hall of Famer. Tawana says, yes, I love that shirt. I want one, Tawana. If you do want one, send me a message on Facebook or any Unpopular Review host on Facebook, or send us a message on YouTube, and we will make sure we can figure out how you can get a shirt. Hi, Charmaine from Tawana to Charmaine, and Steve says Alicia Fox is bigger than the Bullet Club. You go by numbers. Yes, you're right, but Tawana and myself and everybody else agrees that it wasn't Alicia Fox who drew on the 2 million viewers. Derek Mitchell says, I believe they will have something bigger up their sleeve at the Royal Rumble for Roman Reigns. People have to be patient. I don't think Endgame is Roman Reigns and Adam Pearce. I think something else is stewing. I hope that it's going to actually end up being Nakamura. I think it's a fresh match, and I think that will be a very good match, and that's the way to turn Nakamura face. Have him later go and feud with Cesaro. I think there's a lot of storyline potential in that particular feud. Tawana says, mad respect for Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, if he is going to win the Royal Rumble, which he's rumored to win it, if he's going to win the Royal Rumble, he can take the L on SmackDown. Nobody's going to remember that when he wins the Royal Rumble. Let's just be real. It was fine. It gave Nakamura credibility to take a clean L. A clean L. There was no tomfoolery. There was no shenanigans. And Nakamura had matches for a clean L to Daniel Bryan. I respect Daniel Bryan for that. Steve says, I can't believe you, Charmaine, you let me down. Steve, everybody.
I never let me down. I don't even like Alicia Fox.
The Mark Unpopular Review. Welcome to Unpopular Review. You're brand new. You created your 7th YouTube. Says Alicia Fox is a total divas legend. Elvis Martinez, he got lucky because I wasn't paying attention to the name before I clicked it. Foxy is a legend because she was there for 10 plus years. She also was a Divas champion and a captain of Survivor Series. Elvis, if you ever question why I usually ignore your comments, I want you to read that.
Yes, ooh wee. The only person legend is the Bella twins.
Let me go ahead and highlight me right here. Good job, Mr. Director. Alicia Fox is not a legend. All right, that's not anything away from what she's done in the ring. She is fine in the ring. She is decent in the ring. I respect the fact she was with the company for over 10 years. All respect. But when I go to a person, whether it be Charmaine, whether it be Beatrice, whether it be Kingpin, whether it be Steve, whether it be Tawana, whether it be Derek, whether it be whoever, and I say, name me your top 5 Alicia Fox matches. You can't name them. If I say, name me your top 5 Alicia Fox segments, because it's not always about in-ring capability, you're not going to be able to name them. Pull cameras off of me because you came.
You want my top 5?
But you're not going to be able to name.
The only thing I remember with Alicia Fox. First of all, I'm a little struck right now. Someone ordered me Uber Eats and sent me this. Bro, what the fuck?
I think it hurts me.
Second of all, I can only name one Alicia Fox segment. Actually, 2. One when she fought with Booker T's wife. The other one when she helped Nikki Bella keep the title. That was it. Otherwise, Alicia Fox is a nobody. She's nothing but a jobber. She doesn't belong to be called a legend. You know what? All the people they have being a legend in WWE means nothing, honestly.
Do you think Tori Wilson is a legend? Because she's the Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Katrina Storm was talking about this on Monday Night Raw. She doesn't think Tori Wilson is a Hall of Famer. She does not belong in Hall of Famer. I disagree. I disagree.
Yes, she is.
I think Tori Wilson is definitely a Hall of Famer. What she has done for the business, Alicia Fox is not. People may have watched when Alicia Fox, when wrestling was more popular. People might watch Alicia Fox, but the average person can tell me who Alicia Fox is. Tori Wilson, even though you cannot name top 5 matches for her, you can't name top 5 segments for her. True, I'll give you that. But what she has done, well, that's not true. Her storyline with Dawn Marie and her father and stuff like that was really popular.
In the funeral, especially in the funeral part.
Yeah.
But she is okay. You sound so chauvinistic. What she did, she transcended wrestling. So she left the wrestling business, but every time she had an interview, because she dated celebrities and stuff like that, every time she had an interview, just like Stacey Keebler, every time she did anything outside the wrestling business, she still gave love to the wrestling industry. So she still gave that shine to the wrestling industry. And that's why she deserved the Hall of Fame. That's why she's still legend.
The women,
she loves
especially the women's rumble, she's there. Same thing with Kelly.
I think Tori Wilson, also she had so many great. She also had her and Stacey Keebler, you always remember them. They had decent matches, and when you think Alicia Fox, you have nothing that you can really hey, that was Alicia Fox. At least you had matches with Kelly, Tori Wilson, Stacey Keebler. At least they were in decent storylines, and you remember that. The only thing I remember from Alicia Fox is her being Nikki Bella's lapdog. That's it. So I don't really consider her a legend. But Tori Wilson did a bunch of matches. She had the feud with Victoria. She was in the group with Victoria and Candice Michelle. She wrestled with Stacey Keebler. She did a lot of bra and panties matches. I think she won the title at one point, the women's title.
No, she never won. No,
she didn't.
Okay.
Who?
But she still was in a lot of storylines.
And this is
correct. A lot of storylines.
Alicia Fox. All right. Alicia Fox was in the company for over 11 years, and this is the biggest angle she was in. The first time we saw Alicia Fox, she kissed Edge in a segment with Vicky Guerrero when Edge and Vicky Guerrero was married. She was the wedding coordinator. That is the biggest segment that Alicia Fox participated in. She's not a legend. Once again, all due respect to Alicia Fox. I know you're watching because everybody watches. All due respect for Alicia Fox. I respect everything you did in the ring. I respect your athleticism, and I respect you because you're a wrestler and you were in the business, and I will always respect that. But do I think that you're a legend by the terms of what you are supposed to be a legend for? You are not, in my opinion. And that, once again, I know it sounds insulting, but that's with all due respect to you. X Ellis says Victoria's a legend. Damn, I always see it after I click it because otherwise I wouldn't have clicked you. Steve says, watch the UPR Raw show from this past Monday on the Unpopular Review YouTube channel and learn why Alicia Fox is a legend. I actually posted it on our Facebook channel as well as YouTube. So if you want to hear Steven's reasons for it, go ahead, as well as Katrina's reasons for it, go ahead, as they bully David. David was trying to explain, David was trying to defend, and they bully him to try to get him to not say that Alicia Fox is a legend. Well, not a legend. Actually, I'll encourage it. I'll encourage it. Watch that clip because they said that Alicia Fox is not a legend. I'm sorry, Alicia Fox is a legend, but Goldberg is not. And that's why I almost interrupted and said, you've got to be kidding me. Goldberg's a legend. Don't do that. Nobody may want to see him right now. Stop talking. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. You're about to make sense.
As much as I hate Goldberg, he's still a legend, even though he can't wrestle. When you look, I'll get on to the rest of my point later in my rant. But
and that's a good segue, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Unpopular Review. I am the executive consultant. That is Kingpin. That is Beatrice, and that is Charmaine. Charmaine, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take another commercial break. You'll be gone. But we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get a decaf rants. Our final thoughts at the evening, our final thoughts when it comes to SmackDown. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after this commercial break.
You've always had everything, while people like me have had nothing. Well, now it's my turn. Get used to it.
that was a great movie. Great movie.
I know that ain't going nowhere. It ain't no lie. I wanna see you out that door, baby. Bye, 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 bye. They didn't even know. We talk wrestling and we do karaoke.
Listen, what these people need to know is that if they want to be our lovers, they got to be down with our friends because making love is easy. Friendship never ends.
If you want to there you go. Lover, you want to be my friend. Make it last forever. Friendship never ends. Hey.
If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. Make it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Reviews. Executive Consultant Kingpin Beatrice here every single Monday after Monday Night Raw, Unpopular Reviews Raw Edition. Every single Wednesday after NXT AEW, Unpopular Reviews NXT AEW Division. That's what you just saw just now. And every single Friday after SmackDown, Unpopular Reviews SmackDown Edition. Tuesday and Thursday, we do our movie reviews. Next Tuesday, X-Men 2 as we dive into the X-Men saga. We just did X-Men 1 this past week. Going to X-Men 2 next Tuesday. And then next Thursday, Wonder Woman 1984. Every single Saturday, Black Lightning. Kingpin, Beatrice, we are at the end of SmackDown. We are done. We're going to get a final thoughts. But Kingpin, are you ready for your rant segment?
I'm ready to tell Bill Goldberg what I think of him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Decap Rants.
Give me a second. Here we go. And it was a fluke. They can have fans outdoors. We need to push guys like Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Matt Riddle. She was doing a terrible job as a heel until they got into the piece. I am so sick of Jey Uso. Scrap Retribution because they're trash. They're all trash. They're all jobbers. Donald Trump here. This is rigged. I told you so. Should I start? All right. So we had a great show on Monday Night Raw, only to be destroyed by that fucking asshole that no one wants to see, that old man that needs to just retire already, that no one wants to see. He's just going to bury someone else like The Undertaker. Goldberg. This man needs to go away. This is going to be his match at Royal Rumble with Drew. Spear, spear, spear. And then Drew's going to come back. Claymore, Claymore, Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Get the fuck out, Goldberg, because you can't wrestle. If you look at the top 100 matches all the time, you will not see a Goldberg match in there. Now on to my next part. Why the fuck is Lucha House Party on NXT getting a championship match? They've done absolutely nothing except waste time and space. That NXT Cruiserweight Championship match should have went to Kurt Stallion, who rightfully won his and deserved that spot. Fuck Lucha House Party. Fuck Lince Dorado. Fuck Grand Metalik. They cannot wrestle. Next, I'm sick of seeing the homeless lumberjack, Sami Zayn. Time to get rid of him. He's out of shape. He looks like shit. And he can't wrestle anymore. So I'm sick of seeing him in championship pictures. It's time to get rid of him as well. Finally, on to my high points. On Monday Night Raw, we saw a great match between Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee. Those are guys you should push. Guys like Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, all those guys. Now, with the rumored NXT call-ups that are coming up, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. You want to know where I think they should go? I think they should both go to Raw. I think SmackDown's too low. I think if you put Rhea on SmackDown, she gets lost. Raw is her best bet, and I think that is the place to put Rhea Ripley because she needs to beat Charlotte to avenge that loss at WrestleMania 36 that ended her title reign. That ended her title reign and her push, in my opinion. Ever since then, Rhea has gone downhill. I think she's very talented. And I think she needs to be I think she needs to beat Charlotte to set everything right. And that is my rant.
All right. Very good rant. I surely didn't hear you say any of that before. But that's your opinion, and you're sticking to it, I am sure. Beatrice Kingpin, we're at the end of SmackDown. We're at the end of Decap Rants. Let's go ahead and let's talk about it. We still have a little bit more minutes left. Let's talk about wrestling a week as a whole. Let's talk about Goldberg. We don't get to talk about Raw. So let's talk about it. Goldberg, you mentioned in the Decap Rant. Are we excited to see Bill Goldberg? Beatrice, I'm interested in your thoughts and your opinion.
No, I wish he would have stayed away. Literally, I wish he would stay away. He just botches a lot. I'm actually fearful for Drew's safety.
Me too.
I would have liked to have seen possibly a rematch at Royal Rumble of Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. Keith Lee was close to winning that match.
It was a good match. It was a very good match, and I was actually excited to see it. Keith Lee went out there, who I believe Keith Lee needs to lose weight. I do believe that. But Keith Lee went out there and he gave it his own, and I see him possibly making that match, main event match at WrestleMania. I'm hoping he can make it. If he keeps it up, he definitely will have that opportunity. Let's see what Derek Mitchell says. Being legendary means great. Well, people remember Alicia Fox 10 years from now. We still remember Miss Elizabeth, Sherry Martel, Medusa, Sunny, Sable, Chyna, Lita, and Trish 30 and 20 years later.
You know what the difference is? They actually did something in their careers.
Stella Rivera said, here goes Cartman. That will be UPR's former general manager of Strike. Goldberg is better than Riddle. What he's trying to do is he's trying to troll you right now, Mr. Ricky J. P.
That's who he is? That's who it is?
That is who Stella is. Can Fatima set up a GoFundMe for Drew McIntyre's injuries from Goldberg? Okay, and Sammy are the worst. Hey, I will say this. People talked about how they want to see Goldberg. I don't particularly want to see Goldberg, but at the end of the day, we talked about it earlier when we talked about Alicia Fox. Goldberg is a legend. Goldberg is a Hall of Famer. Goldberg brings in numbers. You can say you don't want to see, you don't believe it. Last year, the most liked photo on Instagram was Goldberg winning the Universal Championship.
And he buried the lead. Goldberg never puts anyone
Still
else.
talking. Still talking, Bill.
I don't
Still talking.
That
Still
man
talking.
is like the Undertaker.
Goldberg came back on Monday Night Raw this week. WWE Raw went to over 2 million viewers. You know why? Because of the legends. Not really because Goldberg. Nobody knew he was going to be there. But because of the legends. Were they impactful? Did they do anything? No, they didn't. But people want to see the legends. They don't want to see necessarily the talent that they have. It's hard to say. It's hard to admit. Then people talked about this Raw Talk thing with Mustafa Ali. For Mustafa Ali, right? Goldberg sells. For Mustafa Ali, right? He came out and he said, I don't want to see people who can barely walk. When you think about it, this is the problem with 2021. Problem with 2020, 2019. When you think about it, if you look at that episode, which legend had a segment for more than 2 minutes? Right? Goldberg was the only one that came close, or maybe Hulk Hogan. But nobody had a segment for over 2 minutes. They kept most of the legends backstage. Only legend that came out on the stage in the ring was Goldberg and somewhat Teddy Long, who was actually on the stage. Then they brought everybody out the last segment. So I said everybody had a backstage segment. That's why Carlito didn't show up, and I think Candice Michelle mentioned something about it, even though she still wouldn't show up. They did. Some people didn't even speak. That's what I'm talking about. Alicia Fox came, but she did not. She only had like 3 lines, and that was it. They still trying to push your stars today. The problem is they don't work. Despite what the vocal people say, the people who bring in the ratings, the people spending money, they want to see the legends. They want to see Hogan. They want to see Rock. They want to see Austin. They want to see Mick Foley. They want to see the legends. They want to see Goldberg. Nobody sells as much as Goldberg, and that's the problem. That's why Brock Lesnar was WWE champion, Universal champion for the better part of 3 years for the last 4 years. Even now, people still asking, when is the Beast coming back? Brock Lesnar. Dylan, are we boring you?
Yes.
Put your phone down. You're in the middle of a show.
When you started talking about Goldberg, you followed me.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You started talking about Goldberg, you fucking annoy me. No one wants to hear about some
Okay. So when you're on right now and you're going through your rant, and I got people sending me messages on my phone right here. There it is. Beautiful. Galaxy S20, right? When people are sending me messages telling me that you're boring them because you're rants, or when people send me putting in the chat that you're boring because you're laying down in the bed eating Tums, do I sit here and tell you to get off? No. So when I'm talking about the shit, you don't sit there and be on the phone.
You know what? Goldberg sucks. He needs to go away before he enters Drew McIntyre and buries someone else. Everyone's sick of that shit.
Happen?
No one wants to see that.
What's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? There was a gentleman on the show. There was a host on the show. His name was Ricky J. Pate, UPR Strike General Manager. He annoyed wrestling fans. He annoyed our fans. And what happened? I had to fire his ass, right? And now what is he doing? He is in the comments under a new YouTube name because he wants to remain relevant. That's going to be you the next time I'm talking and you're doing that bullshit. Now, that's my personal opinion when it comes to that part of Monday Night Raw. Let's go ahead and go to Wednesday night. AEW. The Bullet Club's back in business. Beatrice, what are your thoughts?
I actually didn't watch AEW on Wednesday night. I tried catching the replay on at 11 o'clock, but I missed it. The only part that I saw was when Moxley was basically talking about the devil and about Omega and all that, but I missed the rest of it. But I saw stuff on social media about it, and I'm kind of not thrilled or even impressed that the Bullet Club is back, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, and I completely agree with you. I think it was entertaining, but at the same time, where are we going with AEW Impact? Are they joining forces or not? I see Impact actually getting most of the rub. So here's the interesting part about it. In this partnership with AEW Impact, AEW has everything to – I'm sorry, Impact has everything to gain. AEW has nothing to gain with this. Impact doesn't have that much of a following. TNA doesn't have that much of a following. AEW has a following. So Impact can get the rub off of AEW. But here's my unpopular opinion, because we're unpopular review, right, Beatrice? So here's my unpopular opinion about that. People were so excited because they saw the Good Brothers. Right. They came back. People love the Good Brothers. My issue with the Good Brothers is this. All right, Steve. I got to highlight this comment because this man is crazy. Here's my problem with the Good Brothers. People talk about how much they love the Good Brothers, good tag team, and stuff like that. Why is it the Good Brothers are only relevant when they get with another member of the Bullet Club?
Exactly.
They came out, they had a big pop when they beat up the Usos their first night on Raw. After that, they had to join up with AJ Styles to be entertaining. Then when they broke up for AJ Styles, they were boring. Nobody was paying attention to them. Nobody was giving them credit and stuff like that. They were a member of the tag team ladder match at WrestleMania 33. But everybody remembers the Hardy Boys as well as the Enzo and Cass. People in the bar. People forget the other team. The Good Brothers were in that team because they're forgettable, right? They had to join up with Finn Balor to become relevant again. That's when people started talking about them again. Then when they broke up, they had to get with AJ Styles to become the OC to become relevant again, right? They went to Impact Wrestling. They made a statement, but after they joined Impact Wrestling, people forgot that they were in Impact Wrestling until Kenny Omega came over there and said a few episodes, and they joined them, and then they started getting talked about again. They always have to join somebody in order for them to become relevant. They're solid workers, but as far as charisma goes, they don't have it. Hashtag beat up John Cena. Hashtag beat up John Moxley. Beatrice, your thoughts, and then we're going to go to Kingpins for his thoughts.
I agree with you completely about them having to team up with someone else, like another member of the original Bullet Club, to actually be relevant in the business. If they can't be relevant without having to team up, then what's the point of even having them in the business?
Great, Dylan, what are your thoughts?
These guys haven't been relevant. Like the only time they were relevant was when they were with AJ Styles and Finn Balor. Otherwise, they were jobbing out, and I don't get what's so special about them. Gallows moves like a fucking robot, and Anderson, only thing he ever talks about is his hot Asian wife. So why are we even taking them seriously? The Bullet Club isn't a thing anymore. It's been dead since the Young Bucks and Kenny left New Japan. So they're just like a third wheel. I don't give a shit about the Good Brothers. And if that's their tag team name, that's a real shitty name.
I don't think it's a bad name. I like the name. I like it better than the OC. But I will say this. I see what you're saying, and I agree with some of what you're saying. I purposely didn't highlight that comment because I actually saw his name this time, and I don't highlight Elvis Martinez comments. Here's Derek Mitchell. Here's a smart guy. People complain about the WWE lack of tag teams. No one misses the rival and the Good Brothers in WWE. And I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, Mr. Mitchell. Too sweet. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Mr. Mitchell, because that's something else we could talk about. Let's talk about it. When the Bullet Club came back, one of the members of the Revival, FTR, actually tweeted, "Oh, look," something like that, and I'm paraphrasing. "Oh, look, it's the Bullet Club." And even though you can't hear it, you can somewhat understand what he's talking about. He's not impressed by the fact that here comes the Bullet Club. Why are they bringing back the Bullet Club? And I said it. I posted it up on Wrestling, the Wrestling Civilization, a lot of different wrestling groups. Are the Revival complaining because, once again, they don't feel like they're getting the respect they deserve in All Elite Wrestling? Beatrice, what are your thoughts when it comes to the Revival?
I actually don't like FTR. I do like heels in the company, but I can't get a feel for FTR, and I'm still trying to understand why they're tag champs or were tag champs at one point. It's just that it's getting old. The FTR part of it altogether is getting old. They use the FTR for social media while in WWE, so they just carried that over because they couldn't take the Revival name over because WWE owns the name.
Interesting. All right, so Dylan, your thoughts when it comes to Revival?
Revival were good in WWE. Like, I don't know why you're so against them. They were actually good, especially in NXT. And WWE's missing tag teams, so I don't know why they wouldn't like push them and give them the money that they. Oh, they obviously offered them the money, but I don't know why they wouldn't push them like they wanted. Because look, before you had Heavy Machinery, Street Profits, the War Raiders, Usos, New Day. Now you just have the Street Profits and New Day. You broke up Heavy Machinery. The Usos are injured. I mean, besides those teams, you had no one else. WWE has no tag team division. AEW had a better tag team division than WWE. Now, while WWE has that, WWE has better women's wrestlers than AEW, but AEW has the better tag team division out of everyone in wrestling.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's talk about a few other things I want to mention. Here we go. Here's one that I want to talk about. And that is Mr. Snoop Dogg himself in AEW doing one of the worst splashes I've ever seen in life. The wrestling internet wrestling community will have you believe that WWE is pissed off that Snoop Dogg's in AEW or working AEW style, anything like that. Beatrice, how pissed off do you think WWE is with that happening?
I honestly don't think WWE gives a fuck about him being there. I mean, it was what, a one-night thing? Mm-hmm. Or is he going to constantly be on AEW?
Agreed, Derek. Agreed. I completely agree with you. I don't think WWE cares at all, but I know a lot of people say, and if Daniel Miller was still here, he'll tell you, they're upset. They think WWE is scared of the fact that Snoop Dogg joined AEW or anything like that. WWE does not care about AEW, right?
No.
Their last ratings was 660,000 viewers. Right? They don't care.
But there was a lot in the news that day, so we don't know what it would have been if certain events didn't happen in the news.
Even last week, when everybody was predicting that AEW was going to get over 1 million viewers because of Brody Lee, they came close. Don't get me wrong, they came close, but they didn't do it.
What was it? 989,000 views.
997,000 views. That was a person's death that they were trying to capitalize.
Exactly.
Respect. They still respected it, but realistically speaking, I know from a business perspective, they were trying to capitalize. From a personal perspective, yeah, they were giving him credit, and they were respecting his death, and they hit him hard, but they were trying to capitalize on ratings.
Yeah, talking
about I'm not saying anything negative about AEW. AEW is a tremendous company. I enjoy them more than I did a year ago. There's a lot of wrestlers there I respect, but I don't think they're beating down the door of WWE anytime soon. Go ahead, Beatrice. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I was going to say, talking about the death of Brody Lee, I've seen a lot of fans going, oh, why isn't AEW or why isn't WWE doing anything to memorialize his death? And I mean, come on, he was signed with AEW at the time of his death. So why would WWE be doing anything for his death besides what they've done? And they've done more than what Ring of Honor and CZW has done for Brody Lee.
It's a funny comment from Eric Mitchell. Snoop Splash might be the worst move I've ever seen in wrestling. I've never seen in wrestling so much. Linda McMahon taking a stunner is smiling, and that is true because Linda McMahon's stunner that she took in 2005 was horrible. All right. Beatrice, do you have anything else?
I actually, to finish it up, I actually like the fact that they allowed Sonya to speak this week, unlike her just walking through backstage area last week. I think they're slowly bringing her character back into the company with all that time that she had to take off for personal reasons.
Sonya Deville is going to be the new general manager of SmackDown. You can see it happening.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Russell.
Sonya can wrestle. It's just the fact that she doesn't know what's going on in life.
She's got no charisma.
She has no charisma.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I disagree completely with that. I think Sonya is very charismatic.
She's got more charisma than what Lana has in her pinky and her small toe.
I agree with that, but she still has no charisma to be a big star.
I don't see her being a big star. It's just the fact that she has more charisma than some of them. I'm not going to say that she has more charisma than all of them, but she has charisma to have the chance of being a champion, even if it's tag team champ. She has the charisma to do that. She's great in the ring. She was scary and Mandy.
She's not that great in the ring. I mean, I'm trying to remember where it was.
She's solid.
No.
She carried Mandy Rose in that tag team.
If you look at last year when NXT invaded SmackDown, the first episode when everyone was stuck in Saudi Arabia, Sonya Deville was getting thrown around the ring, outside of the ring by I believe Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox, and they hit her and she jumped at the announcer's table and she wasn't even hit. She's terrible at selling. She's not.
How many people have done that? How many wrestlers have done that?
Almost all of them. They do some form that somebody's not going to like, but others are going to like. Let's just agree to disagree that not everybody's going to like Sonya, but she definitely isn't your typical blonde.
You'll learn Dylan doesn't agree to disagree. He just as firm as that bed he's in. Dylan, your final thoughts.
I thought tonight's episode was pretty good, with the exception of Sami Zayn. I thought the episode was really good tonight. I mentioned because we all know Adam Pearce isn't going to be the one to face Roman, so I wonder who's going to be the person to face Roman at Royal Rumble. One of my possibilities is Kevin Owens again. Another one, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, or Nakamura even.
It could even be
I hope it's Nakamura. I hope it's Nakamura. But it could be the way they can bring Damian Priest up. Because Adam Pearce brought Damian Priest to say, hey, I can't do it, but here's who's going to wrestle. Something like that. I can see that. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be very interesting next 3 weeks. Going into the Royal Rumble, this was actually a pretty good episode of SmackDown. SmackDown, once again, hitting on all cylinders. Smooth episode. 2 hours goes smoothly with SmackDown. So I'm very excited to see what happens in the future for that. Great job. What did you think about Sunny coming back? I think that's supposed to be Sonya. We actually just talked about her in detail and at length, so we're not going to talk about it again. But Zoli, thank you so much for watching us. Please make sure, if you have not done so already, like, love, and share this to all of your wrestling timelines and groups. And make sure you give us a like and follow on Facebook, as well as a subscribe on YouTube. So for Beatrice, for the Kingpin, join us every single Friday. Guest edition. So if you want to be on, hit me up. Let me know. Guest edition of SmackDown of wrestling. Let me know. Once again, we will see you on, tomorrow if you watch entertainment for Black Lightning. If otherwise not, if you're on for wrestling, we'll see you on Monday for immediately after Monday Night Raw. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us here at Unpopular Reviews. Good night.